Welcome back to Chart Wizard Trading. I got some things to talk about. Some things have happened since my last couple videos there. We're starting to lose some things that are key to a bearish analysis. So I'm going to offer some alternatives here. We're starting with the Russell 2000. This is one of the big things, okay, with pretty much every, tech risk asset, something like that. You got the S&P 500 and NASDAQ, Bitcoin, whatever you want to call it, okay, whatever your risk asset is, that the Russell was not confirming any of it, okay. Had a clear 5 down here, still had a clear 5 down, okay. It's just what happened after that was always the bigger question, okay. Ended up over here with 5 waves up, right here, which could only begin something or end it. And that was always the big question. And that happened back in April. Okay. And since April, what are we in, July now? Like it was like S&P climbed to new highs, NASDAQ climbed to new highs. Bitcoin didn't, but those two did. And this went sideways, okay, which could be construed as a series of 1s and 2s to the downside. But here we are in July. And now we have this explosion to the upside, which the market is telling us something, okay? Market is telling us something very important. That this 5 was the beginning of something and not the end of something. It can no longer be the end of something. Okay, now can you stretch it out? Okay, can you stretch this and make it a bigger 5? Sure. Okay, you can go like this. You can make that an ending diagonal, like so. Right? That's a thing you can make it, and you probably see that count out there. But then you're forced to ask yourself the same question. Does that 5 end something or begin it? And the more this goes on, as we start losing all the things that told us that we should be cautious, then we have to consider the alternatives. And that's what this video is, the alternatives. I'm not saying that the other counts are invalid. Okay, the short-term counts are invalid, but like the bigger counts are not invalid. These are alternate interpretations, okay? And an alternate interpretation is that we've begun something new. And that I would say that this would most likely probably be a flat, would be my guess here. So you would go like this, A, B, probably expanded flat, something like that, okay, for your 2. Right, and the counts I'm going to show you kind of match up with that idea. And then you have 3 waves left, right, to put in your 5. So you have, if I take my marker here, and you're going to see a common theme in this idea, okay, a correction, and then 1, 2, 3, okay, wherever that goes, right? I'm not sure exactly where this stops or goes or whatever, but 3 waves, right? A correction, 3 waves. Okay, and that's the Russell. The Russell had, prior to this, not confirmed new highs in the S&P and the NASDAQ, but now has. Okay, so now we have to consider these alternate options. Let's go to the Dow Jones. Okay, same thing. This had a high in May. Okay. And until today, had not confirmed new highs in the S&P and the NASDAQ, and now has. Okay. So the alternate idea with this one is going to be along a similar theme here, right? You have correction coming, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Then we'll move on to the S&P 500. Okay. Now this is a slightly different pattern, but correction, 3, 4, 5. To complete 5 waves. All of these possible with a correction and 3 more waves to complete a 5th. Okay. Now, Russell, you'd want to clear the high up here. That's why I have this up here, right? You want to clear this high to get a final 5th wave. Because your 4 actually, I don't have my 4 measure. I'll borrow this one. I think it's supposed to be a higher degree, but I'll just borrow that for now. That would go. Oh, I do have it. Hold on. This blue one. Wherever the blue one goes, the blue one's supposed to go here. Okay, so this is supposed to be a 4 right here on the Russell. A 4 and a 5 goes up here. Damn it. Okay, a 5 oh, there it is. This 5 goes up here. And I don't know if this timing's right, but you know, labels kind of floating out in space. Same concept though. Correction, 3 more waves. S&P 500, correction, 3 more waves. Dow Jones, correction, 3 more waves. On to Bitcoin. Okay. We don't have a lot of, we have overlapping waves, but we don't have, I've put multiple videos in the past about Bitcoin. Okay, but if we go back to the beginning of the time, this is the one thing I'm most confident about right here. So all, like from the beginning of Bitcoin up to here and to here, okay, I am like 99.9% confident that this orange 1-2 is correct. Okay. After that is where it gets hairy. Now you could certainly just keep going 1-2s for days, but that's not very probable in my opinion. You're just not going to 1-2 forever and ever and ever. You can go 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2 all the way forever. Okay. But that's not very realistic. All right. You're going to match up with the overall market at some point. Now, I don't like, okay, that this 4 and this 2, the orange ones here, they have no alternation at all. None. 0. Okay. However, that's kind of a common thing in Bitcoin. Excuse me. I felt that one coming, but hey, I'm not going to edit it out. I'm a human. And humans sneeze, so that's what happens. Anyway, 4. Okay, and then we have our extended 5th wave as the final wave here with an extended 5th. Okay, 1-2 off of the 2018 lows. 1-2, 3, flat 4. Now we do have alternation here. Okay. Does not come into price territory 1. Perfectly legal, perfectly fine. Okay. But what the important thing is here is we're kind of lining up with, I have 2 ideas here. This is one of them. Okay, and then I'll show you another one. But bottoming a 4 here, or almost bottoming, there's near-term counts for either way. All right, either it's already bottomed or it's just got one more low. I can count it either way on the small time frame. Here I'll go down to a 4-hour count just to show you this part at the end here. Okay. There's just a lot of wild counts out there, okay, for this. most of them are not legal. All right. I'll show you why they're not legal. Okay. But you have a couple options here. So you can go leading diagonal 1 right here to this pivot. Okay. That's legal as 5 waves down. Okay. That could be a 2, 3, 4, and waiting on one more down. Let's go ahead and drop that. Okay. That's legal. Okay. Because you have a leading diagonal 1, then you have 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3. Sorry. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay, you're going to have to zoom in to see it a little bit. It's there. Here, I'll go to the hourly. And I'll explain why that's not a zigzag here in a moment, too. Because people are going to say, that's a zigzag, bro. No, it's not. Okay, and I'm going to show you why. So you can go 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3, 4, 5. Okay. I think I drew one too many ways, but 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. Right there. All a third wave. Okay. Or a first wave. But a third wave. 1, 2, 3. So that's 3, 4, 5. Okay. Here, I'll draw what I mean. I'll put the labels on here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's what I mean. Okay. If my marker is not showing it accurately. That's what I mean. Okay. Labels sometimes will show it better. All right. Again, you have a 4 that doesn't go in the price territory of wave 1. That's all legal. Okay. And the reason I don't think that this is a zigzag, okay, because you have 3 guidelines for zigzags, essentially. Well, 4, if you include time. Okay. You have 1-to-1, where A equals C. Okay. You can check that easily. Here we go. Bump. Bump. And you want to check that in linear, but let me see, make sure I'm in linear. No, I'm in log. Boop. Now I'm in linear. Same thing. Okay. It's not 1-to-1. It's way bigger than 1-to-1. So it's not that guideline. Another guideline is that it channels. Okay. So let's channel it. Not channeled. Blows way, like 50% past the bottom of the channel. Not channeled. Okay. Doesn't meet that guideline. Right. The other guideline is alternation and complexity. So one would be very intricately subdivided, either the A or the C, and then the other would be quick and fast. There's no alternation and complexity there. They're the same complexity. Okay. And then the only other guideline would be 1-to-1 in time. Okay. So you would go like this and like this, and they are not 1-to-1 in time. It's well past it. It's like this is almost 2-to-1. If I put a 2 on, I probably have a 2 in there somewhere. Okay. 1 3/4 to 1. It's not 1-to-1 in time. So you meet, this move here meets exactly 0 guidelines to be a zigzag, this move, which tells me it's an impulse. Okay. And if I use the labels again, okay, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5. Okay. You get an impulse. Yeah, sure, this 2 is bigger than this 4. No rule, no guideline that says that it can't be. Okay. But it doesn't meet any guidelines for a zigzag. None. 0. So there we are. That is one interpretation. But then you're expecting essentially 5 down here, right? You're expecting something like this, okay, to finish that off. It's one interpretation of this move down. Okay, or there is an opportunity for this to also be all done, and it depends where you put this one pivot. because if you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's legal, but then this could also be a zigzag, right? So that could be 1. So this whole thing could be the 5th wave, because it's an expanding diagonal after all for the 1, right? You move your 2 to there. You've essentially erased 1 wave. You can erase it. It's just part of another one. You have your same 3rd wave as right here as an impulse. Same exact 3rd wave. No different. Your 4th wave moves to here. Again, still perfectly legal because it doesn't enter the price territory of wave 1. And then you're left, boom, it's all done. Right? So then that's a complete impulse. And that's where your C goes. Okay, and then you have started some type of basing process here that will eventually become an impulse. We just don't know what exactly it looks like yet. Okay, this can be interpreted as 5 up or a zigzag. Either way is perfectly valid. It depends on how you count this low, truncated or not. Okay, and then after that, you could be. Okay, you could be 1, 2. And then you have a leading diagonal 1. You're going to finish your 2 like that, and then you're off to the races. Okay, that is a possibility. It's also possible, like I said, that this is a zigzag here because you got 5, 3, 5. Because the same thing, 1, 2, 1, 2 is 5, 3, 5, isn't it? Right? Yep. Right, and then it all depends on what this resolves into. So you're going to have 5, 3, 5 like this, and then that's the decision point. You're going to have bulls saying 1, 2, 1, 2, and you're going to have bears saying ABC 1, 2, 1, probably 2, because you're going to have a reaction from that because the bulls are going to step in. And then what happens next after this is going to be the deciding factor. Okay? Because if it's bullish, then this high will break and it will continue. Or if it's bearish, then this low will break and it will continue. This right here will be the deciding point on how that's counted. But let me get into let's assume for a moment that it's done. All right, let me go to a larger time frame. I'll go to a 4-hour. Okay, we have 5 down, right? So then you say, well, you have to ask yourself the same question. 5 can only begin something, or 5 can only end something. It's your only option. So you can't have 5 in the middle. All right. So how does 5 end something? Your immediate thing when you look at this, you go flat. 2 massive problems with the flat. And you're going to see people out there saying flat. It is not a flat. Okay, and let me give you the 2 gigantic reasons why it's not a flat. Okay, first of all, the very first reason is it breaks a rule. Okay, the rule of a flat is that wave B must retrace wave A by a minimum of 90%. I just drew it out. Okay, I can even get it to the dollar here. I'll get it exactly to the dollar. Let me get right on this stinking high here. If I can get it up there. Come on, buddy. There it goes. Right on the dollar. Right on the dollar. Okay, I'm dollar to penny. Okay. It does not reach 90%. You say, oh, it's close. It's close enough, bro. If the rule was close enough, then they would have said 89%. But that's not the rule. The rule is 90%. And I don't care who out there wants to change the rule and say that it's not. That's the fucking rule. 90%. So therefore, it cannot be a flat. And I don't care who says it. The rule is the rule, and the rule is not met. It is broken. It's not a flat. Okay. The second problem with it, let's say it did get to 90%, which it didn't, but let's say it did. Well, what kind of flat is that then? A flat moves sideways. You read the book, and it says it would have to be a regular flat. It's not an expanded flat because B doesn't exceed the start of A. The definition of an expanded flat is that B exceeds the start of wave A. So why did it expand? I have the answer to your question. Because it's not a flat. Okay? But what it can be, you can wind up in the same spot, and all you flat people are going to get lucky because this is also 5 down. Let me turn off this magnet. This is a legal leading diagonal. And why is it a legal leading diagonal? Because it follows the rules. The first thing you do in a leading diagonal is you measure the length of 2 as compared to the length of 4. See, my 100% extension of 2 is up here. 4 does not reach it, therefore 4 is shorter, which means 5 has to be shorter than 3. So you measure 3, and you find that the 100% extension of 3 is down here, and 5 does not reach it, therefore it is shorter, and therefore it is a legal contracting leading diagonal. So if you have 5 and 3 and 5, what is that? A zigzag. That's very important. Why is that important? Because this is a flat. Now that's a flat. You see, that's a flat. So if you have a flat and a zigzag, you have alternation. So I'm going to get rid of these labels because these go on my macro chart, and I don't like cluttering up my macro charts. Okay. If we go to the smaller or the larger time frame, we have alternation between 2 and 4, a flat and a zigzag. Not a flat and a flat and a zigzag. Now, there is alternate options because alternation is not a requirement. We don't have to have alternation. Okay, it's not a rule. It just helps you figure out where you are in the structure because there is an alternate option. In that this could be an extended 3 and this is another one too. We got 1, 2, like so. Okay. Then you're going to get 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, and 5. You can wind up in the same place. Okay. But in order to line up with what I have and what I've shown on the Russell and the S&P and the Dow, okay, then one of these next alternate waves is going to have to be pretty short in duration. Okay. Unless it's your wave off here. Right? Which is possible. But you don't have... One thing you have here, though, going for you to support this count is that you count the number of waves, right? I said correction 1, 2, 3. So that's 4 more waves. 1, 2, 3, 4 more waves, right? Come back to Bitcoin. Well, Bitcoin's already had this correction. It's already been done. But to get 4 more waves, you get 1, 2, 3, 4 get you to there. Okay, and you still need 1 more wave, which tells me that either these ones are wrong and I'm missing a wave somewhere, okay, or one of these waves is going to be super short. Okay, and it's probably not the 3 because you don't wind up with enough length out of it. So let's say you get the 3, and this 4 is much smaller than this one, which is okay, but you're still going to be a 3-wave move. Much smaller than this one. Continues. And then you match up with the rest of the market. Okay, so what you lack in number, you have to make up for with time. Okay, and then the future will tell us that. We'll see where we're sitting on that. Okay. If we look at the S&P, okay, it is possible because if we want 5 more waves, right, correction and 5 more waves, all right, then you have to get another extension, right, which is also possible. Regardless, from the bigger picture, that's what you're looking for with this interpretation. So we're going to see what Bitcoin does for us. But if you go back in time, pretty much every time when Bitcoin gives you a major correction, which we could all agree that this is a major correction. Okay, this top has not made a new high since March. And the stock market tends to lag Bitcoin. So if this all happened since March, now does it have to take as much time in the stock market? No. Okay, but you're still due, okay, for a correction. You need a 3-wave correction from this. So while we now have an alternate count that suggests, like, yeah, the reasons that the bearish count existed are beginning to evaporate with the Russell losing its high, with the Dow losing its high. Okay, our sentiment at all time extremes for optimism. The answer is yes. Okay, but also you have to consider that although sentiment is at all-time extremes, what happens if the extreme optimism doubles its value from now? What do you call that? There's no extra word for it. It's still all-time extremes. Things could be extreme for extremely long periods of time. Both ways, down and up. One thing is certain, eventually, when this is all done, okay, the harder you push up and the longer you push up, the harder and longer you will fall. That's a fact of nature that will occur eventually. We're just trying to figure out when that is. But it is an important occurrence that the Russell took this out, right? Because you already had a completed objective with the original count of this being an expanded flat here, and this 5 ended something. You already expanded. You already met that objective. So I think you're just pushing this to make this an ending diagonal. I think you're pushing that farther than it was intended to ever be pushed. So we have to now consider this as the option. Okay. I mean, there is other options out there too. We have to see how this plays out. you could say that this continues on, right? You're in the third wave right now. 3, 4, 5, like this, and that's just another one, right? 2. Okay, so we'll see how that pans out. Regardless, like from an investment perspective, right, and how I do things, like I'm not missing out on anything. Okay. That's where you have to like change your mindset. Like, oh, your one count is wrong, so you're missing out. Ha ha. I'm missing out on nothing. Like, what's going to happen here? Right? Nothing goes up forever. Now I know information that I didn't have before. And now that I know it, you just wait for the pull. And I'm right back in where everybody else got back in, but except you bought here. Right? I'm not worried about anything. S&P 500 is no different. You're like, buying it, I can't take it anymore, right? That's exactly the point when you're going to get your correction. I can't take it anymore, I'm buying. Well, then you get a 3-wave pullback, and then I'll buy right there. Now, all that being said, the other counts are not invalid yet. Okay. By any means. This is just an alternate interpretation that we have to take into consideration now. And the Russell was a key to that. Now it's just a waiting game, a patience game. Just waiting for the market to come back to you, because it will, because that happens 100% of the time. Pullbacks happen 100% of the time. When 5 waves is completed, the market will come back to you 100% of the time. Now, is it going to come back way down here? No. You have to be reasonable. Okay. Is it coming back to this low? No. It will eventually, one day. Right? But if this count is now accurate, right, I would expect it to come down to somewhere around here, right? Maybe just even a little bit past this, something like that. And we're in that range. You count out a 3-wave retracement, and then that's it. Then it's over. Okay. 3s and 5s all day long. So that's where we stand in the market today. The Russell is talking to us. We have to listen. As a side announcement, memberships on the website are changing at the end of the month. I will no longer be offering a monthly subscription. That will disappear. Okay. It will only be a yearly subscription going forward. And if you are already a member or want to become a member of Chart Wizard Trading at wavecounts.com, anyone who locks in whatever plan they want by the end, including a monthly plan, by the end of the month, can keep that rate for as long as they're an active member. Okay? Otherwise, at the end of the month, that's what will happen. We go over these counts multiple times per week to see where we are in the market, when the good investing opportunities are, when the good trading opportunities are. Okay, because those are different things. It's a whole community of people in a Discord server. It's highly Discord oriented. Okay, so that's where all the notifications happen, is in the Discord. If you do go sign up, you have to establish your Discord login first and then complete the checkout. Okay? And that's all we got. Till next time, have a good one.